I'm Allan Larsen and I'm the course leader for the FuelEU seminar being run by Lloyd's Maritime Academy here in London. FuelEU became reality in 2024 and progresses into 2025 with the regulations for recording emissions from ships. In 2026, those emissions could result in penalties for shipping. The biggest challenge is not the regulation itself, but how we manoeuvre to comply with the regulation, the routes to compliance. And in this course, we'll address those challenges and bring clarity to the options for ship owners and ship managers. The main pain points for shipping companies is the lack of clarity on the options available to them to comply with the regulations. The regulations stipulate certain parameters that ships have to meet on emissions. However, what's not clear to ship owners and ship managers is which fuels are available, which technologies are available, and the manageability of the technologies. So we bring clarity to that pain point. One example from the current course that we're running is that the participants had a realisation, an eye-opening moment, as they put it, that there are other options to alternative fuels, that we can use the pooling system, for example, and we can use energy-saving devices on the ships to reduce the emissions and reduce the penalties. That's something that came, I think, as an eye-opener, as they said, for them. The FuelEU regulations are slightly different to any other that's ever been in the maritime industry because they become more stringent as the years go past. So you might well be prepared for 2026, but are you prepared for 2027 up to 2030 and then on to 2050? So it's a continually moving goalpost. That's a big challenge. So the main takeaway for participants from this course is to be able to go back to their companies and address the various options open to them. They'll be able now to consider what are the more workable options, what's the more achievable options, and hopefully set a direction for themselves. They need a direction for themselves because that is missing from the industry. We don't have a single direction set by the likes of the IMO. So it'll allow the participants and their companies to look at the future and consider the options open to them to comply with FuelEU. A big benefit of FuelEU with LMA is that you're sitting with your peers and fellow professionals, as well as me as the course leader. We sit in a closed room. We consider it a safe space. Your clients can't hear you, class can't hear you, flag can't hear you. So you have the opportunity for honesty, and so do your peers. So you can learn as much from each other as you can from the course, and this has proved very worthwhile in this first run of the course. It's currently a good time to come on this course, FuelEU, because the regulations came into force in 2024. Companies are having to deal with it already. With 2025 being the first year where we have to submit records ready for review in 2026 and possible penalties in 2026. So the course is set just as the regulations are starting to take place and when there are still options to vary your approach to this. If you're already working in the maritime industry, you will have heard the term FuelEU. And FuelEU affects ships within the European Union, but also ships approaching the EU and entering it and ships departing from it. So you may well need to know about FuelEU regardless of your location. To learn more, you can contact us here at LMA, learn more about the FuelEU seminar, and we'd love to see you on the next session.